All right, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and esteemed speakers, welcome to the Moneycontrol Global Wealth Summit 2025 in Mumbai. The city's relentless energy makes it the perfect stage for gathering the brightest minds in markets, business, and policy. India's equity markets are at a critical juncture. Now, while systematic investment plans, SIPs, have fostered a disciplined long-term investing culture, the surge in derivatives trading raises concerns about speculation and risk. Now, how do we balance wealth creation with investor protection? The next panel will explore the evolving trends in equity participation and the role of FNOs and what it will take to deepen India's equity culture for sustainable long-term growth.
You put out a set of regulations related to index derivatives, the index derivative framework last year. Now you have seen that completely, play out. You have the full impact in the markets getting reflected. What is your take? Are you comfortable about this? And then the second question is, this latest consultation paper, what is the thought process?
No, thanks a lot, Mahalakshmi, and pleasure to be here in this very august panel. Happy Women's Day to you and to everybody here in this audience. As far as derivatives is concerned, look, SEBI's view towards derivatives is very clear. Whether it's derivatives, trading, market making, these are essential for price discovery, for market depth, for risk management, and therefore for capital creation. So make no mistake, we are for derivatives, we are for trading, and we are for depth in the market. What we found, and we did a lot of consultation on this over several months the last year, we had one specific concern about over trading in index options on expiry day, which we found was not really contributing to capital formation. On the contrary, there were serious concerns around investor protection, particularly small investor protection, as well as some issues around systemic stability. So we had to take steps, again, with a lot of consultation. We received more than 60,000 responses to our consultation on FNO. And we took a series of 6 steps on October 1st, precisely to target over trading in index options on expiry. Now, as you mentioned, Mahalakshmi, between December, Jan, and Feb, some of the impact of that has percolated in fact, into a large measure. Index options trading volumes have indeed come down. In fact, if I look at options volumes across index and single stocks, December, Jan, Feb this year compared to the last year, it's down by about 23%. Having said that, if I compare December, Jan, Feb of this year with 2 years ago, it's actually up by 15%. So it's more like a stabilization and rather than actually a complete steep drop. And the right thing to look at is probably the entire family of derivatives, which is across futures, options, single stocks, and indices. There, December, Jan, Feb, the volumes are down only about 11% year on year. And on 2 years basis, it's actually up by about 35%. Frankly, we are very happy with the outcome. This was on expected lines where trading in index options has come down, but without impacting the overall family of derivatives as a whole. So to that extent, I think we are on the right track and we are in no hurry to take any fresh steps to do anything on this matter at least.
Ashish, one big change from the regulator side you would expect, which will strengthen markets even further from where we are. I mean, in terms of surveillance, in terms of everything, we are very smooth. Anything that you would expect?
Broadly, there are several types of risks which appear in the market. Some of them are what we call transactional risks, and some of them are long-term risk. And so in transactional risk also, we have centralized risk like clearing houses, and then a peripheral risk, which are individuals over trading and what Mr. Anant was saying, right? So there are each risk we need to measure and figure out, and then naturally the regulator's job is to also assess where the matrix is and how they want to kind of fine-tune the regulations to ensure that the risks don't overwhelm. And there are no dominoes, because sometimes the risk may arise in a corner in one place, and then its impact can be many-fold in other corners. And that's where our regulators over 30 years have been very, very alert on a variety of things. And so for me, when things cool down, there are different ways of looking at things. And when things heat up, there are different ways of looking at things. So the arguments may also reverse because of the situation, right? So many of these things will continue to change, continue to evolve. The risks will emerge, which will have to be thought about and things like that. So I don't see a magic pill which you take and for rest of your life or for next 50 years, things will not happen. It will continue to evolve, and whatever SEBI has done over last 30 years or over last 5 years, in a way they may look tough at that point in time when they are imposed, but they actually make markets more safer. People's trust in that market become better, and so more and more people participate. So I recall in 1992, BS used to trade 10,000 trades a day maximum. Today we trade sometimes 30 crore trades a day, right? So 30 crore is 300 million. And why is because of the tougher and tougher regulation. So I fully vouch for what has happened in terms of tougher regulations. And naturally, the regulations have to be also true to label as much as, so whatever is evolved also has to be sort of ascribed or prescribed into the regulations.
Mr. Singh, you've been waiting patiently for a long time. I'm really, really sorry. But, while there are all these concerns about derivatives trading, people losing money, etc., I think one absolutely remarkable leap that SBI Mutual Fund has taken is with respect to this Chota SIP, the 250 rupee SIP that you've launched, which is going to be distributed through SBI. And there are some cost concessions you've got from SBI, which has also made this possible. Please tell us what is your vision with respect to democratizing this SIP culture. Of course, it's as much as it sounds exciting, there are also this is also accompanied by certain risks in terms of how the product itself is sold. Are the risks told upfront? People who are buying these, are they aware of the accompanying volatility and all of that? Please tell us about your vision and how is this getting percolated down to the customer.
Thank you, Mahalakshmi. Thank you very much. I know actually I've learned a lot from the three August panelists about this. And especially when the new asset class is coming, we need to know much more about this in the mutual fund also. So now coming back to your question, I think we are doing it very, very responsibly, and we try to take this capital creation to the bottom of the pyramid and the mid-level with people who have not been able to participate in the capital market. See, this 250 rupees, maybe is 250 rupees is just a symbolic thing. But the thing is, there are huge, when you look at the number of demat accounts and number of mutual fund investors, which is just 5 crores, which can be much, much more, because there's a huge society who has not yet been able to come into the market. And there were whole lot of problems around banking cost, and thanks to the regulators who participated in a co-creating manner, they brought down the cost by talking to so many people, and especially to SBI, who said proactively that we will not charge any transaction cost on this, because transaction cost is the biggest cost which is involved. We are very sure that we will be able to make it very, very big. This is just a start. Millions of people can join in, and more than 250 rupees. We are more excited about daily SIP of 250 rupees, because when we look at the budget where 12 lakh rupees is tax-free, a lot number of people in the tier 2, tier 3 towns who are just trading in cash, more number of amounts will be coming into the bank accounts, and with the help of UPI, with the lower cost, I think millions of new investors will come in, and this is all going to be DIY. We don't want to push it through distribution channels because the economics will not work. We want it to DIY mostly, and the people like Harsh and other players who are, especially those who are having the vendors accounts. So I think the daily SIP will become a rage in times to come.
India's IPO pipeline is heating up, with over 5 lakh crore in offerings set to hit markets in the next 3 to 5 years as PE and VC investors seek exits. While listed companies may want to raise more growth capital, promoters of unlisted companies may want to tap the capital markets as well. So can bankers really marry promoter dreams with investor expectations.
Let's quickly dive in with my first question to Rahul of Citi. Rahul, a very, very exciting pipeline of IPOs ahead of us in this year. We are looking at billion-dollar IPOs across various sectors, whether it's Tata Capital, whether it's Lenskart, whether it's Temasek-led Manipal hospitals. All big deals, but isn't it time for a reality check as well? Because if you look at the data, there are around 26 companies that have got their approval from the market regulator SEBI between April to the end of December to launch their IPOs, but none of them have launched as of March 3rd. So there seems to be a bit of trepidation in the markets. Blame it on tariff wars, blame it on FII sell-offs. So what's your take right now? Because many of us over here have discussed that towards the end of 2024, we all thought that 2025 will be an even bigger year. Do you still subscribe to that view, Rahul?
Well, I'm a banker, eternal optimist. Banker, eternal optimist. I think 2025 could be a bigger year. We have, in the IPO pipeline you talked about, there are about 1.5 lakh crores of pipeline which is already there. Mandated, soft mandated, likely to be mandated in the next 12 months. The good thing is a lot of these IPOs are likely to be offer for sales. So the business doesn't need capital immediately. So the issuers can time the market. And if there's a market which is soft, which is what it is today, people have the luxury and the flexibility to defer it by 3 months or 6 months if they need to.
Then what's the role of the merchant banker in terms of choosing the anchor investors, or in terms of choosing the secondary investors? Because nowadays we see a lot of trepidation in the market when a lock-in is coming near. Everyone is getting afraid that a lock-in is near and these guys will come to sell. So now are you looking at the profile of investors, even if it means you need to tell the promoter that, look, we need to price this issue slightly lower than what you may have thought, but let's focus on the quality of investors more than just, look at the subscriptions or look at the pricing of the issue.
Yeah, so Anuj, that's the most critical thing in IPO. A lot of it is process, a lot of it is administrative piece, a lot of it is legal. But the real value that bankers provide is judgment on valuation, judgment on what's the positioning of the equity story, and choosing the anchor investors. And the anchor investors are extremely critical because they are not just large investors in the anchor book taking a call early, but they're also influencers. And also they are very, very important because they could have an interest in the main book, and they could have an interest in acquiring post-listing as well. So people who are going to be supporters, who are going to be rock steady in the book for a long period of time, longer period of time than most others, very important to have that investor class come in the anchor book. And like you said, allocate more to them, allocate judiciously to them. And even if it means a little bit lower on the price, we actually recommend very highly to actually have the right anchor investors in the book.
Brutal market reset is underway, sort of stalling corporate earnings, steep valuations, and a cyclical downturn that has all triggered a sharp sell-off. Now, do you chase the battered blue chips, scoop up the shaken small caps, or sort of ride the next wave of momentum? The game has changed, and we need to learn how to pick winners and thrive in 2025. So how do you really do that?
I'm told that you link markets and Bollywood. So right now, given the kind of market we are in, what picture comes to your mind?
Oh, that's like a straight googly off. But halchal is the right word in the market, which is increasing your and my dil ki dhadkan. And so much so that we have to keep telling ourselves that kuch hota hai, tum nahi samjhoge.
Lakshmi, in that case, what's the best asset class right now? Do you think equity is the best asset class given how much the market's fallen? Or is it now time to put your money in hybrid funds or put your money in some sovereign, some G6? How are you approaching the various asset classes now?
See, Anuj, this is the year of the snake, as per the Chinese calendar.
of the snake.
This is the year of the snake. So the markets will play snakes and ladders with all of us. So when you reach number 98, if you played snakes and ladders?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So if
I
you
play
go-
it even now with my 2 daughters. So
That's right. So I play it on the mobile. So if you go to number 98 and you just think you're going to reach 100, there you come down. You come down right to number whatever, 15 or 18, and then you start up front. Okay. So I think in that kind of a market, there are going to be ups and downs, and the gully boys are going to become jawans, and the jawans are going to become 3 idiots. And then suddenly you have a deep seek moment, and then you said koi mil gaya, and that's what Nvidia will say. In that kind of a market, you cannot be wedded to one asset class. That's point number one. Gold has been the absolute student of the year, 1, 2, 3.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's a sequel for the next year and this year as well. But can you just excessively get carried away and do just gold? Answer is no. So what is your end objective? That is going to be the critical driving factor, point number one. So if your yardstick is that 100 ka 200 rupiya banana maybe in a span of maybe 5-7 years, then equity is still the answer. Irrespective of what numbers we are talking about, equity still has a very significant bearing on your portfolio. Gold will actually be the last person standing. It is going to be more like the Vishnu. Vishnu is a protector, okay, in mythology. So Vishnu of your portfolio is actually going to be gold. So I think it's a blend of all financial asset classes with the tail end of gold. And let's not forget the Cinderella, which is fixed income, which today is actually the shining star over and above gold in a lesser manner. But clearly that also plays a very integral role in your portfolio. So one can't give up one asset class to the other. Today, the mood has become like this, that everybody wants to give up equities, or most of them want to do that, and probably get into safer alternatives, including alternate assets. And I find that a very misconceived notion, just because the recency bias in our mind is very, very strong.
Absolutely.
Under his visionary leadership, Maharashtra has not only cemented its status as India's financial capital, but is also on the path to becoming the country's first trillion-dollar sub-economy. He has championed a policy-driven approach that attracts global investments, fosters technological advancements, and promotes sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our great privilege and honor to have amidst us the dynamic Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, for a conversation on Maharashtra. जी आपने इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात की, इस ऑडियंस में बहुत ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर्स बैठे हैं और हिंदुस्तान के कई इन्वेस्टर्स बैठे हैं, तो महाराष्ट्र को ऑलरेडी सब फॉरेन एफडीआई जो है सबसे ज़्यादा भारत के सब स्टेट्स में मिलता है, 52% पिछले क्वार्टर में. तो ऐसा क्यों है और आप क्या स्टेप्स लेंगे कि आपका एफडीआई और बढ़े ताकि आप बिजनेस एज यूजुअल से ऊपर चले?
देखिए, एफडीआई में तो ये साल हमारे लिए बहुत ही अच्छा रहा है, क्योंकि अभी तक एफडीआई का हमारा जो रिकॉर्ड था वो 2016-17 का था, जिस समय हमको 1,31,000 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट आया था उस पूरे साल में. लेकिन पिछले 9 महीनों में ही हम लोगों को 1,39,000 करोड़ का निवेश ये एफडीआई के माध्यम से आया है. तो हमने खुद का ही रिकॉर्ड तोड़ा है. और मुझे ये बताते हुए खुशी होती है कि हमारे पीछे के जो 3 राज्य है, उनकी टोटल भी हम मार ले, पूरा उसको मतलब उनको जो एफडीआई मिला है उसकी टोटल भी कर ले तो उससे ज़्यादा एफडीआई ये महाराष्ट्र को मिला है. और मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि लगातार बीच के अगर 2 साल छोड़ दे, जिस समय महाविकास आघाड़ी की सरकार थी, 2015 से हमने टॉप करना चालू किया एफडीआई में, और वो हम लगातार टॉप कर रहे हैं. और मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ इसका एक ही कारण है कि जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर होता है वो स्टेबिलिटी देखता है, वो वर्क कल्चर देखता है, वो हम लोग बिजनेस फ्रेंडली कितने वो देखता है, ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस, कॉस्ट ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस, ये चीज़ें देखता है. इन सब चीज़ों पर हम लोगों ने बहुत वर्किंग किया है और उसके कारण मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि ये आ रहा है. और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जो आपने कहा इसको और कैसे बढ़ा सकते हैं, तो जितने इमर्जिंग सेक्टर्स हैं, ये सारे इमर्जिंग सेक्टर्स की पॉलिसीज हमने तैयार की है टू अट्रैक्ट द इन्वेस्टमेंट. बड़े पैमाने पर ये पॉलिसीज तैयार की है और इन पॉलिसीज के कारण मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि बड़े पैमाने पर ये निवेश महाराष्ट्र में आ रहा है।
जी, आपने ये भी कहा है कि आप महाराष्ट्र को भारत की फिनटेक कैपिटल और डेटा कैपिटल के रूप से देखते हैं मुंबई को, तो ये इसके क्या मायने हैं आपके आपके हिसाब से और ये किस तरह से होगा?
देखिए, मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि महाराष्ट्र डी फैक्टो फिनटेक कैपिटल भी है और डेटा कैपिटल भी है। फिनटेक कैपिटल इसलिए कि आज मुंबई, अगर आप देखिए, हम जिस बीकेसी में बैठे हैं, यहाँ पर फिनटेक में हुज हू ये इसी बीकेसी में है। और अभी हम लोगों ने एनपीसीआई को यहाँ जमीन दी है। एनपीसीआई अपना ग्लोबल हेडक्वार्टर यहाँ बना रहा है। हम लोगों ने नेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज को हम लोग जमीन दे रहे हैं, वो भी यहाँ पर आ रहा है। तो कुल मिलाकर फिनटेक में जो सारी हमारी इंटरनेशनल बैंक्स है वो सारी यहाँ पर है, इंटरनेशनल फंड्स है वो सारे यहाँ पर है। अलग अलग प्रकार की जितनी मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि फिनटेक की जो अलग अलग विधाएं हैं वो सारी आपको इस बीकेसी में या मुंबई में दिखाई पड़ती है। और साथ साथ मैं एक चीज़ और बताना चाहता हूँ कि चूँकि अभी जो स्टार्टअप इंडिया का एक नया रिपोर्ट आया है, इस रिपोर्ट ने 3 चीज़ें एक प्रकार से यहाँ पर अधोरेखित की है। पहली चीज़, इन एब्सोल्यूट नंबर महाराष्ट्र स्टार्टअप कैपिटल, सबसे ज़्यादा देश के स्टार्टअप्स ये महाराष्ट्र में है। इन एब्सोल्यूट इन्वेस्टमेंट महाराष्ट्र इज नंबर 1 इन स्टार्टअप्स, क्योंकि सबसे ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट स्टार्टअप का महाराष्ट्र में है। और इसके साथ साथ फिनटेक के सबसे ज़्यादा स्टार्टअप ये भी महाराष्ट्र में है, ये भी हमको देखने को मिलता है। तो मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि एक प्रकार से ये फिनटेक कैपिटल डी फैक्टो है और धीरे धीरे बन भी रहा है।
देवेंद्र जी, अभी बजट सत्र चल रहा है, चुनाव को हुए अभी 3 महीने हो गए हैं, तो रेवड़ीज को लेकर बहुत डिस्कशन है और चुनाव में कई प्रोमिसेस किए गए जिसकी कॉस्ट बहुत ज़्यादा होगी उनकी। तो आप बजट को बैलेंस किस तरह करेंगे और ये जो प्रोमिसेस जो है, एट व्हाट पॉइंट विल यू ड्रॉ रेड लाइन अराउंड रेवड़ीज?
देखिए, पहली बात तो यह है कि आपने जो कहा उसमें सच्चाई है कि हम लोगों ने अलग अलग प्रकार की जो योजनाएं शुरू की, आज उसकी कॉस्ट हम लोगों को सालाना 60,000 करोड़ रुपया देनी पड़ती है, 60,000 करोड़। लेकिन इन योजनाओं के माध्यम से मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि सोशल सेक्टर में हम लोग एक प्रकार की इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हैं। और जैसे हमारी लाडली बहन योजना है जिसमें बहनों को 1,500 रुपये हम लोग दे रहे हैं, अब हम लोगों ने उसमें एक नई स्कीम लाई। हमारे यहाँ नागपुर की महिलाओं ने एकत्रित आकर एक फाइनेंस सोसाइटी तैयार की एक, और उस सोसाइटी में 30 लाख रुपए उन्होंने जमा किए छोटे छोटे लोगों से ही, और उसका एक बिजनेस मॉडल तैयार किया। अब हम लोग प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि ये जितने हम लोग ये 1,500 रुपये जो हमारी बहनों को देते हैं, इनकी हम लोग इसी प्रकार से एक फाइनेंस सोसाइटी हर जगह तैयार करके और उसमें से एक बिजनेस मॉडल तैयार करें, ताकि ये केवल 1,500 रुपये लेकर वो खुश न रहे। तो हम लोग उनको अलग अलग प्रकार से अपने इकोनॉमी में कंट्रीब्यूट करने के लिए ह्यूमन रिसोर्स के रूप में या कंट्रीब्यूटर्स के रूप में उनका इस्तेमाल करते। जैसे हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने लखपति दीदी की योजना लाई, तो महाराष्ट्र ने हमने तय किया कि हम लोग 1 करोड़ लखपति दीदी बनाएंगे। पिछले साल में हम लोगों ने करीब 23 लाख लखपति दीदी बनाए। इस साल हम लोगों ने टारगेट रखा है 25 लाख बनाएंगे, और ऐसा करके 1 करोड़ हमारी बहनों को जो सालाना 1 लाख रुपए से ज़्यादा कमाती है, ऐसी लखपति दीदी बनाने का प्रयास हम लोग कर रहे हैं। तो ये सही है कि अब ये सारा इन्वेस्टमेंट जब आप लोग इस प्रकार का एक रेवेन्यू साइड पर करते हो, तो उसका एक बजट के ऊपर स्ट्रेस तो आता है, लेकिन हम लोग मैनेज करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और हम लोगों ने ये प्रयास किया है कि इसका असर हमारे कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट पर न हो। उस दृष्टि से हम लोगों ने बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर प्राइवेट सेक्टर की मदद से और अलग अलग इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स को तैयार करके हम लोग हमारे निवेश हमारे यहाँ कर रहे हैं। तो मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर को कम किए बिना हम लोग हमारे बजट को बैलेंस करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, please give a big hand to Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Thank you so much for being so sporting, sir, and taking all the questions.